A male witch possesses an intrinsic bond with the natural world, a connection that goes beyond simple admiration for the beauty of trees, rivers, and the sky. This connection is an unspoken language, an understanding of the rhythms and cycles that govern life. He does not merely observe nature, he interacts with it, feels it, and draws energy from its depths. He knows that the wind carries messages, the earth holds ancient wisdom, the fire speaks of transformation, and the water whispers secrets of the unseen. His connection with nature is not just about being in the wilderness. It is about understanding the spirit within all things. When he walks through a forest, it is not merely a stroll. He feels the pulse of the earth beneath his feet, sensing the energy that runs through the roots of trees and the soil that has held the footprints of countless beings before him. The rustling of leaves is not just a sound, but a form of communication, as if the trees themselves are speaking in a language only he can hear. He might find that animals respond to him in unusual ways. Perhaps birds land near him without fear, or stray animals approach him as if recognizing a familiar presence. This is not coincidence, but a reflection of his attunement to the natural world. He may have an innate ability to predict the weather, not by relying on forecasts, but by sensing the shift in the air, the way the wind changes direction, the subtle scent of rain before a storm arrives. He understands the moon's influence over emotions, tides, and even human behavior, often feeling the heightened energy that comes with a full moon or the quiet introspection brought by a new moon. His awareness of these natural rhythms allows him to move in harmony with the world rather than against it, making him deeply connected to the unseen forces that govern the universe. Plants and herbs hold a special significance to him, not just as elements of nature, but as allies in his craft. He instinctively knows which plants have healing properties, which ones can enhance intuition, and which ones should be approached with caution. Whether he consciously studies herbalism or simply feels drawn to certain plants, he understands that every leaf, root, and flower carries a spirit, a unique energy that can be harnessed for protection, healing, or transformation. This knowledge may have been passed down to him through ancestral teachings, or it may have emerged naturally as part of his spiritual awakening. His dreams may often be filled with visions of nature. Perhaps he sees himself standing on mountaintops, walking through endless green fields, or speaking with animals in ways that feel more real than the waking world. These dreams are not mere fabrications of the mind, but reflections of his deeper connection to the earth, messages from the spiritual realm guiding him toward his purpose. He may wake with an inexplicable understanding of something he has never studied, or feel an overwhelming need to be near water, trees, or open landscapes, as if drawn by an invisible force. A male witch does not see nature as separate from himself, but as an extension of his own existence. He honors the changing of the seasons, recognizing that life moves in cycles of birth, growth, death, and rebirth. He understands that destruction is necessary for renewal, and that even in the decay of fallen leaves, new life is waiting to emerge. This awareness shapes his worldview, teaching him patience, resilience, and the wisdom of letting things unfold in their own time. He is not afraid of the dark, the storm, or the unknown, because he knows that everything in nature has its purpose, and he too is part of this grand design. A male witch possesses a heightened intuition that extends beyond ordinary perception, allowing him to sense energies, emotions, and events before they unfold. This intuition is not a skill learned through books or formal training, but rather an innate ability that manifests in subtle yet powerful ways. He may often experience a strong gut feeling about people or situations, an unshakable knowing that guides his decisions, even when logic suggests otherwise. This deep-seated awareness enables him to navigate life with a sense of certainty that others may not understand, yet time and again, his instincts prove to be correct. His intuition is not confined to the physical world. It often extends into the realm of dreams and visions, where messages come to him in symbolic forms. He may dream of events before they happen, see glimpses of possible futures, or receive guidance from unseen forces. These dreams are not random, but rather pieces of a greater puzzle, offering insights that he later finds relevant in waking life. Sometimes he may wake up with a feeling of urgency, as if something significant is about to occur, and more often than not, his premonitions turn out to be accurate. He can walk into a room and immediately sense the emotions lingering in the air. Whether it is joy, sorrow, tension, or unspoken anger, he absorbs these energies instinctively, even when those around him try to hide their true feelings. This sensitivity makes him highly empathetic, allowing him to connect with others on a profound level. Though it can also be overwhelming at times, crowded spaces filled with conflicting emotions may drain him, and he may need time alone to reset and clear his mind. His ability to sense what is not being said enables him to offer comfort, advice, or warning to those who need it, often surprising people with how well he understands their inner struggles without them having to explain. There are moments when he simply knows things without any logical explanation. He may feel a strong urge to take a different route home, only to later discover that an accident had occurred on his usual path. He may hesitate before trusting someone, sensing deception before any evidence presents itself. His mind picks up on subtle cues, body language, tone of voice, and even changes in energy that others overlooked, giving him an almost supernatural ability to read between the lines. He does not just rely on what people say. He pays attention to what they don't say. And in the silence, he hears the truth. Objects, places, and even the atmosphere of a home carry vibrations that he perceives on a deep level. A room filled with conflict may feel heavy to him, just as a space that has been blessed or purified may feel light and welcoming. Old items, antiques, or secondhand possessions might hold residual energy from their previous owners, and he may instinctively feel drawn to or repelled by certain objects without knowing why. This sensitivity to energy allows him to cleanse, protect, or redirect the flow of spiritual forces, whether through rituals, meditation, or simply his presence. His intuition strengthens his connection to the unseen, making communication with spirits, ancestors, or otherworldly entities more accessible. He may receive messages through sudden thoughts, whispers in the wind, or sensations that alert him to a presence beyond the physical realm. Sometimes he will know that someone is thinking about him before they reach out, or he will feel a shift in energy just before significant news arrives. These experiences confirm to him that there is more to existence than what can be measured by science alone, reinforcing his trust in the guidance he receives from within. Despite this extraordinary ability, his intuition is not always easy to bear. There are times when he foresees difficulties ahead, but must endure the frustration of not being able to change what is to come. He may feel the pain of others as if it were his own, carrying burdens that are not his to bear. Learning to balance his heightened awareness with emotional and spiritual protection is essential, allowing him to use his gift without being consumed by it. He understands that intuition is both a blessing and a responsibility, one that requires him to remain open yet guarded, aware yet not overwhelmed. Through experience, he learns to trust his inner voice, recognizing that it is a guide meant to lead him toward wisdom, safety, and deeper understanding. A male witch is often drawn to ancient and forbidden wisdom, feeling an unexplainable pull toward knowledge that others dismiss, fear, or overlook. This fascination is not merely an intellectual pursuit, but a deep spiritual hunger to understand truths that transcend time. He seeks out texts, symbols, and practices that carry the essence of forgotten traditions, knowing that within them lies power, insight, and a connection to forces greater than himself. His interest in the occult, mysticism, and esoteric teachings is not a passing curiosity, but a calling, an unshakable desire to uncover what has been hidden from the masses. He may find himself instinctively drawn to ancient civilizations, studying the mystical practices of the Egyptians, the wisdom of the Druids, the spiritual depth of the Sumerians, or the hidden teachings of alchemists and sages. He recognizes that knowledge is not limited to what is written in modern books or taught in institutions, but extends far beyond. Encoded in symbols, myths, and oral traditions passed down through generations. He understands that ancient texts contain more than stories. They hold keys to unlocking hidden aspects of reality, messages concealed within allegories, sacred geometry, and the intricate patterns of nature. His quest for knowledge often leads him to subjects that many would deem unconventional or even dangerous. He studies the principles of alchemy, not just as a process of turning lead into gold, but as a metaphor for spiritual transformation and enlightenment. He explores astrology, recognizing that the movement of celestial bodies influences the energies of the earth and the people who inhabit it. He delves into numerology, sacred texts, and lost scriptures, seeing the interconnectedness of all things and realizing that patterns in the universe repeat in ways most fail to notice. He understands that language itself carries power, that words and symbols have the ability to shape reality. This awareness draws him toward ancient languages, sigils, runes, and scripts that were once used in rituals and spells, believing that their meaning extends beyond their written form. He may find himself experimenting with chants, mantras, or incantations, testing the vibrational energy of sound and its effect on the world around him. Whether through the study of old grimoires or the intuitive discovery of his own sacred words, he knows that speech is not just communication, but a force capable of manifesting change. Forbidden knowledge does not necessarily mean dark or malevolent wisdom, but rather information that has been suppressed, hidden, or deemed dangerous by those in power. He understands that history has been shaped by victors, and many truths have been buried to maintain control over the masses. His search for knowledge often leads him to question official narratives, seeking alternative perspectives and forgotten histories that challenge mainstream belief. He sees beyond the illusions created by society, recognizing that the suppression of mystical and spiritual practices was often an attempt to keep power out of the hands of the individual. His knowledge is not limited to the past, but extends into modern spiritual and metaphysical studies, blending ancient traditions with contemporary understanding. He may practice meditation, energy work, and ritual magic, not as mere superstition, but as tools to harness unseen forces. He experiments with different traditions, integrating wisdom from various cultures and systems, recognizing that truth is not confined to any one path. He seeks unity between science and spirituality, understanding that many ancient teachings align with modern discoveries in quantum physics, consciousness studies, and the nature of reality itself. This deep knowledge gives him a unique perspective on life, allowing him to see patterns, connections, and hidden truths that others overlook. He understands that wisdom is not merely about accumulating information, but about applying it, using what he has learned to navigate the world with clarity, intention, and power. He becomes a guardian of forgotten truths, a seeker who carries the weight of understanding that others either fear or dismiss. His mind is a library of sacred knowledge, a collection of insights that shape his path and empower his craft. He knows that true wisdom is not about control or dominance, but about alignment with the forces of the universe. And through this alignment, he unlocks doors that others do not even realize exist. A male witch possesses an undeniable ability to influence events, a power that extends beyond mere coincidence or luck, whether through intention, energy manipulation, or an unspoken connection to the unseen forces of the universe. He finds himself shaping reality in ways that others may not fully understand. This ability does not always manifest in grand, obvious ways. Sometimes it is subtle, a quiet shift in circumstances that aligns things in his favor or ensures the outcome he desires. He does not always need rituals or elaborate spells. Sometimes his thoughts alone seem to have weight, carrying the power to nudge reality in a particular direction. People around him may notice strange patterns, such as situations unfolding exactly as he predicts, unexpected opportunities appearing just when they are needed, or challenges dissipating as if an invisible hand has cleared the path. When he speaks with certainty about something happening, more often than not, it does. He may find that when he focuses deeply on an outcome, the universe seems to conspire to bring it into being, as if his very willpower bends the fabric of possibility. Some might call it manifestation, others might call it magic, but he understands that reality itself is more malleable than most believe, and those who know how to tap into its hidden mechanics can shape it to their advantage. His presence alone can shift the energy of a space. When he enters a room, people may unconsciously adjust their behavior, sensing an unspoken authority or influence radiating from him. He can diffuse tension or amplify excitement, drawing attention without trying, subtly steering conversations or interactions toward his desired outcome. He does not need to control others through force or manipulation. Instead, his energy speaks louder than words, influencing moods, decisions, and even the course of events. Those who doubt his abilities may dismiss these occurrences as coincidences, yet they happen too frequently to be mere chance. His power is not limited to affecting people. He can influence nature, objects, and even technology in ways that defy explanation. Lights may flicker when he is deep in thought. Electronic devices may behave strangely around him, and objects may seem to move or shift without clear cause. He may have an innate ability to call the wind, bring unexpected rain, or sense the subtle forces at play in the environment around him. He knows that energy flows through everything, and with the right focus, that energy can be directed, altered, or amplified. His emotions, thoughts, and intentions have a ripple effect, setting things into motion even when he is unaware of it. When he is filled with joy and confidence, opportunities and synchronicities seem to appear effortlessly. But when he is overcome by negativity, strange misfortunes may follow. He learns to master his internal state, knowing that his thoughts do not remain within him, but extend outward, shaping the world in ways both seen and unseen. He understands that everything carries vibration, and by aligning his own energy with what he seeks, he can bring it into reality. People may come to him seeking guidance, drawn to the sense that he holds unseen knowledge or influence. They may not always understand why, but they trust his words, knowing that when he speaks with certainty, there is truth behind it. He offers advice that seems to unlock doors for others, helping them break free from obstacles or see paths they had not considered. Even those who were skeptical may find that after speaking with him, their circumstances shift in ways they did not anticipate, as if his words have set something in motion. His ability to influence events is not about control, but about alignment. He does not force things to happen. He understands the currents of fate, the flow of energy, and how to move with them rather than against them. He is a weaver of possibility, a guide of unseen forces, a conduit through which reality bends and reshapes itself. Through intention, will, and deep understanding, he walks the fine line between the ordinary and the extraordinary, shaping the world in ways that others only dream of. A male witch carries an aura that sets him apart, a magnetic or mysterious presence that draws people toward him without them fully understanding why. There is something about him that feels different, something unspoken yet deeply felt. Whether it is in his eyes, his voice, or the way he moves through the world, he exudes a quiet power that commands attention. People may not always be able to articulate what it is about him that captivates them, but they feel it on a subconscious level, as if he carries an unseen force within him that cannot be ignored. His presence is often both alluring and intimidating, as there is an intensity to him that others find difficult to define. Some may feel an immediate sense of trust, drawn to his depth and wisdom, while others may feel uneasy, sensing that he knows more than he lets on. This is not something he actively tries to create. It is simply a part of who he is, a natural consequence of his connection to energies that most people do not perceive. His silence can be as powerful as his words, and even in a crowded room, he stands out, not necessarily because of his appearance, but because of the energy he radiates. His eyes often hold an unusual depth, as if he has seen things others have not, carrying the weight of knowledge and experience beyond his years. People may find it difficult to hold his gaze for long, feeling as if he is looking not just at them, but into them, seeing beyond the surface and into their true selves. This can be both thrilling and unsettling, as he seems to uncover things that others would rather keep hidden. He does not need to pry or ask too many questions. His presence alone has a way of revealing truths that people struggled to conceal. His voice, whether soft or commanding, carries a certain resonance that lingers in the mind. When he speaks, people listen, not just because of what he says, but because of how he says it. There's an undeniable weight to his words, as if they carry a deeper meaning or unseen force behind them. Even when he is quiet, his energy fills the space, and his silence often speaks louder than words. He does not need to fight for attention. It finds him naturally, as if people are inexplicably drawn to his essence. There is a timeless quality about him, as though he belongs to no particular era, moving through the world with a presence that feels ancient and new. He may have a deep appreciation for old tradition, forgotten wisdom, and lost arts, yet he also adapts effortlessly to the present, existing in a state of fluidity between what was, what is, and what will be. This sense of timelessness adds to his mystery, making it difficult for others to categorize or fully understand him. He does not fit neatly into labels or expectations. He is simply himself, unapologetically and without explanation. People often feel drawn to tell him their secrets, even when they barely know him. Strangers may open up to him in ways they do not with others, sensing that he will understand without judgment. He does not demand honesty, yet it comes to him freely, as if people instinctively recognize that he can handle their truths without fear or condemnation. This ability to make others feel seen and understood is both a gift and a burden, as he often absorbs the emotions and energies of those around him, carrying the weight of stories that are not his own. He is not loud, nor does he seek the spotlight, yet attention follows him wherever he goes. His presence lingers, even after he has left a room, as if a part of him remains imprinted in the space. Some may admire him, some may fear him, and some may be unable to look away, drawn into his orbit without fully knowing why. He is both a mystery and a force, a being whose energy cannot be ignored, whose very existence shifts the world around him, in ways both seen and unseen. A male witch possesses an inherent resistance to conventional control, an unshakable defiance against forces that seek to limit, suppress, or dictate his path. He does not conform for the sake of acceptance, nor does he bow to societal expectations that contradict his true nature. Authority, when built on illusion, manipulation, or blind obedience, holds no power over him, for he sees through its facade. His mind is not easily swayed by propaganda, nor does he allow fear to dictate his actions. He questions everything, refusing to accept narratives simply because they have been repeated over time, recognizing that much of what is presented as truth is merely a construct designed to maintain control over the masses. His resistance is not an act of rebellion for its own sake, but a reflection of his deep need for authenticity and freedom. Rules and systems that do not serve higher wisdom hold no meaning for him. And he is not afraid to walk a path that others deem unconventional or even dangerous. He understands that control is often disguised as security, that many people submit to authority out of fear rather than genuine respect. He refuses to be caged by expectations, whether they come from family, society, or institutions that thrive on conformity. He values personal sovereignty above all else, knowing that true power comes from within, not from external validation or approval. His very existence challenges structures that depend on obedience. Whether in relationships, workplaces, or social settings, his refusal to submit often unsettles those who rely on unquestioned compliance. He does not follow rules blindly. He evaluates them, tests them, and discards those that seek to suppress rather than empower. This makes him unpredictable in the eyes of those who wish to control him, as he cannot be easily manipulated by guilt, intimidation, or promises of reward. He moves according to his own principles, guided by intuition and inner knowing rather than societal norm. He recognizes that many institutions, whether religious, political, or cultural, have long sought to suppress knowledge, independence, and spiritual power in favor of control. He sees how fear has been used as a tool to keep people compliant, how questioning the status quo is often met with punishment or exile. Yet he does not fear exile, for he understands that true strength comes from standing firm in one's beliefs, even if it means walking alone. He does not seek conflict, but neither does he avoid it when the fight is necessary. His words, thoughts, and actions carry an energy that disrupts falsehoods, exposing cracks in the structures that others assume are unbreakable. His resistance extends beyond external authority and into the realm of thought and perception. He is not easily influenced by trends, mass hysteria, or collective fear, for he sees how easily people are led astray by emotion, misinformation, and psychological conditioning. His mind remains his own, a fortress that cannot be breached by deception or coercion. He values knowledge over ignorance, experience over blind faith, and self-mastery over submission. This independence of thought allows him to move through life without being shackled by the limitations that bind others, making him a force that cannot be tamed. Even in personal relationships, he resists attempts to control or possess him. He does not tolerate manipulation, deceit, or coercion, sensing when others attempt to bind him with obligations that serve their own interests. Love, friendship, and connection must be based on mutual respect and freedom, never on dominance. He does not seek to control others, nor does he allow himself to be controlled, understanding that true connection can only thrive in an environment where both individuals remain sovereign in their own power. His resistance is not about destruction, but about liberation. He does not reject authority simply for the sake of rebellion, but because he knows that true authority must be earned through wisdom, integrity, and alignment with universal truths. He respects those who lead with honor, but he kneels before no one who demands submission without merit. His power lies in his ability to remain untamed, unbroken, and unwavering in his truth, walking his path with the certainty that his soul was never meant to be bound by anything less than the limitless expanse of his own will.